All right, so for those of you guys who like policies, right, like the nuances of politics, right, this video right here is gonna be interesting because little do a lot of people know, Trump raised taxes on the rich, right? Trump raised taxes on the rich. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm not lying to you. He did. And the way he did it is in his Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, aka the Trump tax cuts. He capped the SALT deduction, okay? And the SALT deduction, aka the state and local tax deduction, right, basically allows people to deduct their state and local taxes from their federal income taxes, okay? And Trump put a cap on this. He capped it at $10,000. Now, who pays the most in state and local taxes in this country, guys? Think about it. These high cost of living Democrat-run states, right? So when Trump instituted a cap of $10,000 on the SALT deduction, essentially what he did was he raised taxes on the rich, particularly those who are rich that live in blue states. Basically, Trump low-key raised taxes on Democrat millionaires. Okay? That's just one of the low-key things that Trump did that a lot of people don't talk about. That's actually pretty hilarious, right? So obviously the Democrats don't like this, right? Because obviously, as much as they want to rag on the Republicans for tax cuts and appealing to the rich, the Democrats do the exact same thing, right? They just do it in a more covert way, because some of them are in support of getting rid of the cap altogether, okay? And there's currently a fight between Biden, who has shown support for getting rid of it, but doesn't have the cojones to actually put it in his plan. And it's basically a fight between him and the moderate Democrats who really just want to get rid of it, or else they're threatening to tank the whole infrastructure bill if they don't get their way. So let's read a little bit more about what's going on here. President Biden is unlikely to propose reinstating state and local tax deductions in his second tax and spending package, despite pressure from several fellow Democrats, according to people with direct knowledge of the planning. The stance could complicate his goals of passing a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure proposal. The SALT deduction is a top priority for a number of Democrats representing blue states. Its supporters include Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's from New York, which is a high tax state, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's from a high tax state of California. Both of them blue states with high taxes. During the Democrat primary, Biden himself. So Biden also supported this. The president is now signaling he won't fight to lift the caps that former President Trump imposed as a part of a 2017 tax package that lowered corporate rates. The White House omitted lifting the SALT caps from Biden's first infrastructure and tax package, which the president unveiled Wednesday, but some Democrats held out hope that SALT would be addressed in a second package to be announced in the coming weeks. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters on Thursday that eliminating SALT is not a revenue raiser. It would cost more money, but if Democrats wants to propose a way to pay for it and they want to put that forward, we are happy to hear their ideas. Quote, final decisions are still being made on the second package, so any speculation is premature, said a person familiar with the deliberations. A commonly held view at the senior level of the Biden administration is that capping SALT, which Trump did to save money and to punish his blue state enemies, was actually good policy. Senior Biden officials have soured on SALT deductions for two main reasons. It will undercut their working class message and it would cost them a fortune. Reinstating SALT would reduce revenues by an estimated $70 billion to $80 billion a year, roughly half of the annual amount that Biden has proposed to raise by hiking corporate rates. But some Democrats insist that some tax relief under SALT could counter Republican arguments that the Democrats only want to raise taxes. Quote, to not get rid of the SALT limits and to then raise taxes could be a potential nail in the Democrats' coffin in the midterms, given their narrow majority in the House, said Doug Schoen, a Democratic pollster. Biden is not rejecting a SALT repeal outright, so much as signaling that lawmakers who want it will have to add it into legislation themselves during negotiations in Congress. He could easily sign a massive infrastructure tax and spend package if lawmakers force the SALT deduction back in. Several powerful members of Congress, including the leader of the House Democrats' moderate wing, Representative Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey, have told the White House that the state and local deduction is essential to constituents and must be restored. Gottheimer said Trump's decision to do away with SALT cost his state dearly, driving out many tax-paying residents. Gottheimer and New York Rep. Tom Suozzi went as far as to tell Axios that they would not vote for any infrastructure tax and spend package the Biden administration proposes unless it brings back SALT. Quote, no SALT, no dice, Gottheimer said. That got the White House's attention. Now, again, Chuck Schumer has been quoted as saying that one of the first things he would do if he became majority leader is to get rid of the SALT tax deduction limit, right? He wanted to eliminate the cap, okay? Right? Which, again, according to left-wing / centrist policy outlets like the Brookings Institute, is a handout for the rich, right? That's what they're saying. So the Democrats want to cut taxes on the rich, and they are basically threatening Biden's infrastructure bill if they can't cut taxes on blue state millionaires and billionaires. Ain't that funny, guys? Ain't that funny how it works, right? When the Democrats are working for their donors, when they're working for their puppet masters, all of a sudden it's okay to cut taxes for the rich. It's okay, right? That's important. That triggers economic growth for their guys, right? For their people, right? All of a sudden that theory works. But when the Republicans want to cut taxes, no. They're just handing out money to the rich. They only want to take care of the rich. Democrats are threatening this infrastructure bill that they've argued is going to put working class America back to work, and that, you know, they're actually going to raise taxes on the rich, right? And analysis has shown, and there's an argument to be made, that lifting the SALT cap would actually help the rich more than what Trump's tax cuts did. Okay? That's the ironic part about it. The Democrats are looking to help out the rich more than Trump did with his tax cut. But all they want to talk about is how much Trump's tax cuts help the rich. And the Democrats literally are threatening this infrastructure bill so they can cut taxes for the rich more than Trump did. Ain't that crazy? Ain't it funny how the game works, guys? Ain't it funny how the pot always wants to call the kettle black? But see, the narrative is that Trump only cut taxes on the rich. That's the narrative. And some of that could be true. But he also raised taxes on the rich for those in the blue states. Blue state billionaires. Right? And that could be the reason why they are so opposed to Trump's tax cut. Not because they're opposed to tax cuts. Obviously, they're not opposed to tax cuts. They're just mad because he cut taxes for everybody except their donors, right? Trump didn't cut tax for their donors, so they're upset. They're mad. And then they're going back on all the things they've been talking about in regards to, oh yeah, we're for the working class. We're only going to raise taxes on the rich. Okay, I hear you. Nobody should be surprised by this. Because as much as Democrats want to talk about their pro-working class and that they're fighting against the rich and all that, no, guys. Their donors are rich people. They're not going to do anything that's against their donors. They're not going to, right? They're gonna always low-key find a way to help them. On paper, they might raise taxes, but best believe on the back end, there'll be some deductions, right? There'll be increase. There'll be things they'll do to allow their donors to still benefit. But they'll go out there and market it as, oh no, we raise taxes on the rich. The Republicans are the ones that are working for the rich. So like I said, guys, I just want to do this video because I found it ironic that this is what Democrats are looking to do. And they may throw a wrench in the infrastructure bill in order to accomplish this. And I really wonder how the progressive wing of the Democratic Party is going to react to this. I really do. I really do wonder if they're going to push back against this or they're going to just kind of let it slide. Because if they let it slide, then I got a lot of questions for them. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.